Thank you, Lisa, for introducing me. Thank you, Anne, for your, I don't know how to say, for this great talk. And it's so difficult to talk after you, actually. Thank you. I would like to say really thank you, Suzanne Garot and the government of Quebec for inviting me here and for this honor and pleasure to talk to you, to exchange ideas and to talk about my own experiences. I don't have, well, maybe I have some of the global questions, but maybe not as global as Anne did. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about how we grew our network, you know, how we built it from being very small to growing regional, and hopefully, well, we already joined the global movement, even though Anne is questioning whether it exists, but I think it does. Our network is the network of the Republic of Bashkortostan. And I know the first question you actually really want to ask. So, yeah, I have the answer for you. And this is the Russian Federation, still the biggest country in the world, and this small red heart over there is my home region where I was born, and it's called the Republic of Bashkortostan. Don't be misled by its small size on the map, because it's quite big. It has 4 million of population. It has 2 official languages, because we have another major ethnic group, not the Russian one, but Bashkort. So maybe we are in this, a little bit like Quebec, you know. So how do people live there? Actually, some still live like this. Even though this picture was from 150 years ago, that's a picture from 2 years ago, and some people still do live in these small wooden houses, but most others live in apartment buildings you see in the background. And unlike in North America, living in apartment buildings doesn't often mean that you are poor and you cannot afford a house. That just means that most of population are urban. So seriously, yeah, we have 140 million, about 73% are urban population. We have 13% of people over 65, lots of ethnic groups, people are quite educated. A few years ago, we were considered a high-income country according to the World Bank ranking, even though 10 years ago we were not, so maybe it's something to be proud about, maybe not. The minimum pension, though, is quite low. Don't be surprised, 150 euros, that's very little. I don't know how people survive on that, but most pensioners do get more. Life expectancy is 64 for men, 76 for women, and surprise, surprise, men don't really have time to enjoy their pensions. Women do, and they do have 5 years more than men, so because women can retire earlier. Well, these numbers don't mean that they have to retire, but they become eligible for the government pension, so that 150 euros. I wouldn't be happy about that, but, well. So, you see that's like, it looks like Gagarin's, spaceship now, because it moved just from the research to some age-friendly projects and grow into the regional network. The only spot we are missing there is the global movement on the higher end. But to make this short story long, it took actually quite a lot to build this age-friendly startup. And we started really small. We started from just a very little project. We called it a third age university, and we only had a couple classes at the beginning, and like 10 people joining the classes. But then we grew, we built a lot on culture, because this third age university was the idea we used because it was familiar already for people. In the Soviet times, we had this, they were called people's universities. So we used this idea to educate older adults. Well, not educate, but to provide more education opportunities because most of them are already educated. So even though at first not many people believed this idea would work because it was built on volunteer effort. And volunteerism is not really a very popular idea in modern Russia. And it was not popular in the Soviet Union because, as some of you may know, in the Soviet Union, volunteering was actually some kind of mandatory activity. You know, how does that sound? Mandatory volunteering. So we used to have that, yeah. And nowadays, even nowadays, when you talk to people and you say, would you like to be a volunteer? Or what do you think about volunteers? And they're like, no. What is that? Why would you do that? So it was not easy, but we did that. Well, one of the most important pieces here is building awareness. And for me, it's one of the key bricks in this building, you see? Because as soon as people understand that they can do things, that age-friendly is important, as soon as they buy in, they start helping you, they start doing things with you. And building partnerships, cherishing partners, that's another key idea for me to becoming a global movement or any movement at all. So I have a few pictures for you from my organization. Oh. Well. Yep. So these are the kind of projects we have in our organizations, and some of them did become so they grew into these regional programs. For example, at first we had this small third age university, and it did become a regional program. So now the government has some funding for these third age universities. And that's the same with other projects, with other programs. And we also have local municipalities initiatives, and they also grow, they share, and we make an effort to share these initiatives. We share them at conferences, at special seminars and other events. And you see some familiar faces here, maybe. So last year we had an international conference, and Greg Shaw came to our conference, and Lisa was there, and hopefully they learned how to say the name of the capital of our republic. It's Ufa. And this picture for me illustrates kind of this, the local initiatives, the global leaders, and also there's a minister of labor and social welfare there who has joined us and who has invested a lot of effort in our movement. So what the regional network looks like, actually this, yes, could be helpful, could be not, I don't know, but that's what we have. We do have a regional supervisory council and administrating bodies, and you see there are actually 3 of them, and that's a problem. In Russia we have a saying, if you have 7 nannies, Be worried because your child may lose his eye. Because every nanny thinks the other one will take care of your child. So that's what we have now. We all think that another one will take care of this age-friendly baby. And it's difficult. So we do have 21 municipalities and working groups in every city. And you see all these arrows going from top down. And that's very typical for Russia. And that's what we do have. It's not a bottom-up movement. It's more of a top-down movement for now. But it works, not quite the way I would like it to work. So in many cases, we do miss this bottom-up piece, but we're working on it. All right. I've tried to think of some constraints of the accomplishments we have. And for me now, they are kind of balancing each other. So there are good things and bad things, and we can think of moving forward. What we need next, and you see, it's all about awareness and interaction and exchange, and I think it should help, because for now, I am the regional coordinator, but I'm the only one who goes to international conferences and talks to people, and I'm very dissatisfied with that, because okay, yes, I try to come home and talk to people at home and tell them what I hear at conferences. But I would like them to have more opportunities for exchange. And I'd like our older people to have opportunities to hear all being said here, all the new things, all the old things, all the experiences, all the challenges. It helps, because we all need this, to wear this awareness, to have it. And finally, the name of our organization, and I think it's very important that we realize that, we actually involved everyone, literally everyone in the city, to think of a name for our organization. And it translates from Russian, "My years are my treasure," and we also have the English name Wisdom Ripening. But the idea is, no matter how old you are, whatever years you have, are your treasure, and people do have to learn to treasure that. So with that, thank you very much. Let's, with our treasures, think about what we need for global movement. Thank you.